A few weeks ago, I played this game called Spark 3, and I've been meaning to talk about this game because it is what you call an underrated gem. This game came out about 2 years ago on Steam or PC, whatever, and recently came out on Switch about 5 months ago, only being on Switch for about £10, also for a 5-hour game, which genuinely is amazing. Some of these things are so unbelievable. They offer insane abilities, like one, you can boost on rails and stuff like that, and you have a little dash that boosts speed as it is like a momentum based game. It's a high speed platformer. It's like a love letter for Sonic fans, really, and if you love high speed platformers, this is your kind of game you want to be playing. When you run, if you don't get hit or if you don't boost yourself into like a wall or something like that, or lasers or whatever the hell, you won't lose that momentum and you accelerate, you increase as you go. So it's where you run without getting hit, you run faster and faster. From what I know, I haven't played Spark 1 and 2, but of course I played Spark 3 and I finished the entire game. Spark itself, like the character, is inspired by Sonic and Kirby, and yeah, it's a pretty cool, nice idea of a design. It's Kirby's beam power and Sonic fused together to make Spark. Cool design if you ask me. Anyway, I just want to talk about, not only is there high speed platforming, they also add combat. I want to just talk about the combat now. The combat is actually pretty good too. It's not like a extremely amount of variety. I'm going to compare this to like another Sonic game because it is mostly inspired by Sonic, where there's not like an extreme amount of variety like Sonic Frontiers, where you have multiple ways to fight, but it's like the obvious light attacks and heavy attacks, which each do more damage as you make more combos. With it, adds for you to have abilities to choose from one, which improves the combat by allowing to shoot projectiles from an energy meter that you have, and you have to charge it up by defeating enemies. There's like a homing attack too. The enemies just don't stop there because you actually have to fight with your combat. So there's ones they use with your homing attack. They can also allow you to build your energy meter and fight in many ways. Like the abilities, they can heal you or allow for extra dashing. This is in an item shop that they all give you, and I was worrying about the money count they would give you first of all, but the money they use is like very easily to obtain in like levels, so it's not like a hard thing after all. But there's even one where, not gonna spoil, but you can play as Dark Spark, where it's like this thing you have to unlock or something like that. Well, you need like 2,000 bits. I'm pretty sure that's what the money is called. I think it's called bits, and you need 2,000 bits. Where it's like a scythe that can be used as like an alternative combat mode where Spark changes color and outfit, and you also use a blue scythe that you can attack, which, not to mention, like the combat is completely changed with that, which you can't use your abilities though. That's all it is really. You can't use your abilities. It's separate, but you can't use your abilities. However, it's still pretty good, which also makes the fights challenging. Like the boss fights are actually pretty good in this game too. There is one problem I have, and I'll get to that soon. It's mainly in the final, like the climax of the game, the final boss, but we'll talk about the positives. There is even an amazing mech fight, which gives Code Geass vibes, and it's actually so cool. I'm not going to spoil it. Anyway, let's get to like the very minor issues. For example, if you're playing this on Switch, the frame dips are bad, and they can chop down to at least like 10 FPS, which, no, it's not unplayable, but it is still playable. But depending on what stage you're on, for example, I'll play a clip right here. I should make a holy frame dips part 2. Like you can see from that, the frame dips are pretty bad, but it's not to a point where it's unplayable though. I also need to say, like I was talking about earlier, the final boss is not very challenging. And it's weird because the final level is actually my favorite level in the entire game. It's like I'm not even joking when I say it. I spent 20 minutes on this level, struggling. You had a limited amount of lives, but it was so good. The way Lake Feppard, the creator, designed this is actually amazing. He outdid himself with that level. I was like, damn, this level is insane. I loved it. And the way it's kind of like sad is that it offers more difficulty, but it's just a bit anticlimactic. The actual ending boss fight, if you ask me, it's not very insane like the other boss fights, like the one where you can fight as a mech, or the one where it like switches. I also would have liked if you added voice acting, because the story in this game, it's a nice charming story. It's not too dark or anything too, like, it's just not too lighthearted, it's not too dark tone, but it does have some sad moments, and it's overall just, like I said, a nice charming story. Overall, that's what I have to say about Spark the Electric Jester 3. The game is a very good game. I recommend you buy it because on Switch it's cheap, like I said, £10, but I assume somewhere else on PC, I think it's on Steam it's cheap too. I don't know how cheap it is, but yeah, it's pretty cheap. Yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. So overall, I'm gonna give Spark the Electric Jester 3 an 8.5 out of 10. And sometime in the future, I will try out Spark 1 and Spark 2. I want to try out I want to see what this franchise is all about, and I definitely recommend it. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.